So it's great to see so many of you here today. So hello, everyone. Thank you so much for taking your time and being here today. So I think we can start now. But before we get started, I hope everyone can hear me and see the screen okay. If not, just let me know in the chat so we can make sure everything is working fine. So to start, let me quickly introduce myself. I'm Diana, and I'm part of PDFix team, and I'm excited to welcome you to this webinar today. I'm also joined by my colleague, Josef, and together we are going to walk you through some of the most common challenges many of us face when trying to create PDFs in Adobe InDesign. Actually, we've had a lot of our customers asking about this topic, as many of them are InDesign users, so they know firsthand the accessibility issues that can arise when trying to export a document. And so after working really closely with them and understanding the pain points, we took action and developed automatic fixing commands for these InDesign issues and integrated them into PDFix Desktop, which is our professional accessibility tool designed specifically for PDF remediation. So overall, at PDFix, our main goal is to automate the remediation process as much as possible, transforming tasks that traditionally requires time and specialized expertise into quick and easy actions with just a few clicks, all within an intuitive interface. And to basically show you how it's all of this done today, Josef, who has years of experience in PDF industry, will share some tips and tricks along with a live product demo on how to tackle these accessibility issues. So I really hope you find this session useful and you can see how just straightforward this task can be. And in the meantime, feel free to drop any questions or comments in the chat. You can just click the question mark under the screen and we'll do our best to get to them at the end of the session. So I think it's enough talk. Let's dive in. And Josef, it's yours.
Okay, thank you very much, Diana, for an introduction. And just to clarify, I'm Josef Baranec. I am the CEO of PDFix. Many of you have already met me, either personally or during some online calls. But yeah, this type of webinars, we found like a useful way to educate our clients, users of the PDFix Desktop, in order to help them work with the PDF documents when trying to make them accessible. So welcome again, everyone. And the only thing I can say at the beginning, I wish everyone a good connection. I will be doing demo in the PDFix Desktop, which, like Diana mentioned, it's a professional tool, basically designed, primarily designed for the PDF remediation. And I hope everyone has it downloaded on the desktop, so you can simultaneously try all the things that I will do on my computer on yourself. And yeah, we'll get to your questions at the end of the presentation. I believe that there will be like enough time to answer whatever will be necessary. Regarding the content of this webinar, we will be talking about a few things we picked up based on the customer feedback, based on what we found in the documents coming out from InDesign. And we found quite a recognizable pattern which points to specific features which can be fixed quite easily. But even though these fixes can be done quite easily in any PDF editing software, let's say, Some of them are pretty time consuming, and as Diana mentioned, our goal to automate stuff and make it easier to use. We are trying to make these features available using ideally single click. And at the end of the seminar, a presentation, or the second half of the presentation, will be dedicated to completely automated processing, which means that we will combine all the things which I will present into a single batch command, which can be then executed on a single file or even a batch of the files. I will slightly touch also the full automation process using the PDFix SDK, because actually both commands are, these commands are compatible with PDFix Desktop and also PDFix SDK. So let's take a look at what we prepared. We prepared a set of files that were picked basically not completely randomly, but these files presenting the issues which we spoke about, and we can take a look at the overview of the issues which are here. We can easily run the validation of all the files in a batch, and we can review the issues in the view which points which shows the issue type, and actually also links the issue with the specific documents. So which issues we're going to talk about is artifacting the content. InDesign documents usually, or in many cases, contains objects that are not tagged. Usually, or in most cases, these objects are not like a regular content. Usually these are path elements, I don't know, borders of the table, some dividers of the page, and simply content which is not meaningful. And in most cases, this content is or should be artifacted. So this will be one of the steps. Then we will take a look at the alternate description. Alternate description of the images. This is a quite large topic, and I will speak about the alternate descriptions at the end of all the cases, because this is one of the most discussed topic all over the accessibility, and I believe that the results or the solutions which we have available in an automated processing will be valuable. The next problem is the missing contents of the links. Again, we have a solution for automated fixing, so we will explain this one. Then, regarding the structural elements, other structural elements, we will look at the list item problem, which is in many cases generated by InDesign, and especially in case of nested list. When the nested list is outside of the L body, we will show you how to fix that quite easily. And lastly, there are some, I would say, minor but necessary fixes which must be done on the PDF, like, I don't know, setting metadata, PDF UA identification, and also the tabs key, which is required when the annotations are on the page. So yeah, we can take a look at each individual documents, and we can start from here. So let's go to the first document. This document, basically, if we look at the document, I will speak slightly about the UA, the design of the application, or the view which you can operate with the document is very similar to other application, and I will explain you how you can access the features or the functions which we can access. So the validation is integrated within the view. So by clicking on the specific items, we can immediately show the problematic parts. So this will be an important part of the presentation, because many of the features which I will present, or which will fix the problems, can be accessed directly from this pane without searching the buttons across the whole application. However, we can take a look at the positions and toolbars or tools where we can access it. So on the left side, we see kind of a standard panes like a page, bookmarks, content, annotations, tags, and so on. We also have a layout recognition and fonts. This will be discussed in one of the next webinars, which we will prepare. On the right side, we have a template, which is useful for generating templates for auto tagging, accessibility pane for quick access, manual tagging, validation, and again, we have some other sometimes required toolbars like for the conversion, checking the properties of the object, low-level access to the PDF for someone who understands the PDF deeply, and we have a tag destination pane. In most of the presentation will be done on using the validation pane. As you can see that when switching in between the panes, you can see a slight more changing toolbars on the top. Each toolbar has its own set of buttons or quick functions that are available for that, depending on the particular feature which is inside of the pane. So you can see that there is a different set for annotations, different set for toolbars, and so on. However, you have also a quick access toolbar on the top, bottom right, and bottom left. These toolbars are fully customizable, so you can pick up your functions, your buttons. You can define it as you wish. So just to fit that into your user interface. Each method that I will use is also available to be executed using a shortcut. So anyone who is not using, would like to avoid using mouse, you can associate shortcuts in the preferences pane, in the application preferences. So let's look at the issue. It's probably the first issue that I will discuss is a very simple one. It's a PDF UA identification in the metadata. As I said, we have a couple of options how to execute it. The most common, or when you will be using PDFix Desktop for fixing issues, probably the very common access will be using the fix error directly from the PDF validation pane. This fix error is available for some functions for which we know what functions is to be used. So in our case, if we have a PDF UA problem, the dialog will pop up and we can choose the UA standard which should be applied. After running, after execution, we have highlighted the issue with a different color, which means that we can revalidate. After revalidation, the expectation is that the issue will go on. This PDF UA identification is also available from the accessibility pane. From this pane, you have other functions available here. So this was the first one, and easy. Second problem is an untagged content. I mentioned that InDesign generates this untagged content. In most cases, these are path elements that are not somehow relevant to the content, and should not be taken into the consideration when screen reader parses the page. So we always recommend checking these path elements across the whole documents. However, if you know that your documents are having these issues with objects like paths, and you know that your the content which is untagged, really it's not necessary to be tagged, you can again fix the problem from this point, but also you can artifact content using the toolbar. Here you have in this artifact in the content has a couple of options. I won't speak too much about the options. You can simply use this function and identify what options we have. We can simply choose the artifact untagged content. We can artifact headers, artifact footers, and so on. And we can choose how to deal with the objects that will be processed using this method. So if we choose to artifact untagged content running, it will be automatically done on the whole document. It can be also processed on the selection. So if you want to go to page by page, you can use the fix error from this pane and you're done. Let's look at the next problem. We will skip the figure tags. This will be solved at the end. The links, many times, or in most cases, do not contain the contents key. This can be fixed in such a way. The fix which we provide now in an automated way is that we have a couple of options how to fill the link with the content, or how to set the contents to the link. Of course, you can define your own custom text. So this means that you can type your own text and use that one. You can also choose the text from the annotation bounding box, and you can also use the text based on the destination action. So for instance, if your link is using the action URI action to navigate to a website, then the text will be filled according to this action. In our case, if just for this example, I will use an annotation, the text from the annotation bounding box. So after running this command, we can take a look at the links, and if we go to attributes, if we go to contents, you can see that the contents is filled by the text which is inside. We consider this as a good solution because you are still the description or the contents is always related to the data which is inside of the link, and actually in most cases it will be a good information for the screen reader to read on. Of course, if you know that your documents are using a different style of links, or simply links that are covering that are placed over images or simply are not over text, in those cases this functionality will not work, but you will realize that in the next steps. For the figure tags, let me go to the figure. For the figure tags, we have a few options that are built in directly inside of the inside of our PDF processing engine. For the figure tags, we provide a few options how to fill the information about alternate text. And again, you have few options. You can define your custom alternate text, which means that you can type either placeholder for finishing the alternate text later. You can use the content around the image, which is probably not an ideal solution from the accessibility perspective, because then you would achieve the result which will read the content twice. So that's why we do not consider this as an ideal solution. However, in case the processing, let's say volume or resources, for whatever reason, if you don't have a chance to modify or provide the manual or other type of content to the image, this is definitely a solution which could work. Or simply this means that you do not have to artifact images, but provide some kind of content. You can also use the content from inside of the image. So this is useful for some graphics or charts, which could have a description inside of the area of the image. And also in case, for example, links, you can use the associated contents of the object. So this is useful, for example, when using this feature for set the alternate text for links which has a contents set. So this was the first part of the solution for alternate figures. At the end of the presentation, I will show you another method which is utilizing which is utilizing AI in order to generate the alternate text. So these were the features or the fixes that which you can use in order to fix these problems. And let's look at the other problems. And I will open this file. And in this file, I will show you how to fix some of the other problems. We have, again, the alternate text for figures, which is actually the same problem like in the previous case. We have the PDF UA, again, repeated, but we have a list problem, which has the nested list outside of the body. This is a quite common problem and basically quite easy to fix. But if you have, 100-page document, if you have many lists in the document, you need to go through every single list item in order to fix that. So the solution in that case, again, you can access it from sorry, you cannot access this one from the validation pane, but you can access this either from the list itself. You have the option to fix list tag, and you don't have to care about this one. It's a regular expression which is describing the type of the tag which will be fixed, because the function itself, it's a more universal and can be used for multiple purposes. After running this fix, we move all the content inside of the list item into list body. So this way you will solve the problem with nested lists. Let's look at the next example, and it will be strategic partnership program. So in this file, basically we will not show the problems which are like violating the PDFUA standard, makes the PDF not compliant, but we saw many requests for cleaning up the structure. And basically the idea of the fix, or the requirement that came from the customers, was to simply move the actual content into a single level directly under the document. So simply they wanted to get rid of this article story, or some other programs may create a div elements. So yeah, which is a many times discussed problem. And how we solve it is basically using a function to delete tags. And this delete tags is again like a more universal function. I will show you the first option, how to get rid of these articles and list stories in this document. So basically you just fill in this edit box with the names of the tags which you want to delete, separated by the vertical bar, and you can choose what to do with the content. Of course, when deleting article, the article usually doesn't have any real content, which is actually on the page. So there should not be any other modification, just to delete and move the nested tags to the parent. So by execution of this, you will get a nice structure, nice flat layout directly under the document. Second feature, or second option, we have other options which we can do with the delete tags. So for instance, you can delete empty tags without the content. So by choosing this option, you will clean up the document if there are any empty tags in the document, of course, except of, I don't know, TRs or table tags, which you should not have any, may not have any, may not contain, must not, sorry, may be without the content. So this is another way how to deal with such a problems, and simply cleaning up the structure. Probably the last thing in this manual presentation would be handling of these role mapped names. Some customers came to us to use, so it's possible to switch it between the role mapped view and the regular view of the tag. So this look will provide you the experience which is common in other editors too. However, you have the option to clean up the tag structure and simply apply the standard tags all over the document, and it will be completely, also the role maps can be completely removed. Again, we're not saying this is a practice which should be used, but we saw cases when the requirements was to simply clear the role map. So after doing so, we went through all the modifications which we have on the list for the automated fixing of accessibility issues in InDesign automatically. And now we can proceed with the automation part. The automation part basically happens in the main application window, because this main application windows is designed for batch processing. So the batch processing is it can be controlled in this action manager, and I have prepared two accessibility InDesign accessibility fixing commands. Basically, if you look at the command, it contains all the, or almost all fixes that I presented in my presentation. Of course, you can modify it according to your needs. So there is an edit button where you can simply manipulate each command. You can edit the properties. The properties are actually almost always the same, which you saw on the document, on the dialogues that popped up. So you can modify the way how the whole process will be done. And once this is done, you can execute it on a batch of files. So how it works is quite simple. By selecting all the documents, and executing the batch, you will see the dialog, which is a confirmation dialog. So this is the list of files which you will process. This is the output folder, and I will put here. So let's just put the separate folder for the output. And here on the bottom, you have a list of all the operations which will be executed. You can, at this stage, you can always remove some of them and simply modify the properties. After running, in the activity pane, you have a progress, and you can see that the whole process was very quick. And once we can take a look at one of the documents, how it was processed. So after execution of this document, let's switch to, this view. So I didn't include the delete roadmap. So in this view, you can see the nice structure of the document. And in the validation pane, we should not see any other problem except for the alternate text, which was not included, or the process which I set up in the batch processing simply didn't succeed in defining the alternate text for image because of missing text around and such. So this is the first option, and this option, when you use just commands which modifies the PDF using our embedded or internal action, you can pick up the command into the toolbar. You can simply access. All the actions are available here, including the custom commands which you created. So this command can be easily accessible for any document which you open. Once you click on this, it will pop up the same dialog you already know. And in this view, you can, again, modify or tune the properties of the actions that will be executed and simply run it on an open document and continue manual remediation. But all those fixes which we presented here will be completed. Another command which I wanted to present is using the AI for generating alternate text for images. We have a built-in method for external actions. External actions is actually using a method to utilize any external command line application. The command line is just the first type of interface which we support. So technically, it is possible to embed any command or any custom script or whatever you use in your process for remediating files, and integrate that directly into the workflow which you will define. So in our case, we have integrated AI-based generation of alternate text and, for example, language detection. We have created an action marketplace, and the action marketplace is actually a website where you can find all the available external actions. So for now, we have included OCR, language detection, HTML to PDF, alternate text generations, 2 types of alternate text generation. Basically, what you need to do is take the name of the external action, copy, and put it here into the edit and add action. By adding the add action, in our case, this action operates on the Docker container, and it will be downloaded and executed directly on your computer. One thing you need to mention: Docker is necessary it must be installed on the system as well. So let's go back to the AI generated images. And in this case, I created a batch command which contains all the features, all the functions that I executed previously. Plus, I added the OpenAI key, which is which can be generated by anyone who is using the OpenAI. We can also choose the language which will be used for processing, and we can choose to override the alternate text. Even if the document has alternate text, it will be overwritten. The processing will take a little bit longer because we need to communicate with OpenAI. However, it's not so bad. So let's delete these processed files, and we can run again the batch using an AI. Again, I have the confirmation dialog here. We can run it, and here on the activity pane, we can see immediately the processed file. And after this is done, it will take a few seconds. We will see how the document looks like. And I will try to open one of them. And I hope I will pick up the right one. It's not this one. Yeah, for example, this one. And you can see that we have a image description written in the Spanish language in our case, and for all images, and basically it was all included. So that was all generated by the AI. The batch pipelines, how we call it, I mentioned at the beginning that the batch pipelines can be used not just in the PDFix Desktop, but also can be used with PDFix SDK. So you can export this action into JSON file. And for those who have systems for fully automated processing of the documents, you can use this function or this set of tools directly on this batch, fully automatically, for either fixing all issues or pre-processing of your documents before manual remediation. I think I covered everything what I wanted to talk about in the presentation, and I showed you everything what I wanted to show. So now I think we can follow up with any questions or comments you might have regarding what was presented, or if you have any other questions. Diana, if there are any questions or comments in the chat which we could process, please let me know. I'll hand it over to you.
Yeah, we have now a few minutes left, so if anyone has any questions, feel free to ask now, and we can wait a few minutes. Yeah, here is a question: if we offer a demo version of PDFix Desktop.
Yes, definitely. PDFix Desktop is available as a trial for free for download from our website. So if you go to pdfix.net/download, you can download the PDFix Desktop for Mac, Linux, or Windows, depending on what machine you operate on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would just maybe add that if you are interested in trying out PDFix Desktop and these InDesign comments we were presenting for yourself, you can download it on our website for free and try out all the features we've been covering today. So,
Dana, I may interrupt you. I see one additional interesting question. Although I touched it during the presentation, but we have a question regarding if those modifications which we have done can be exported and used as a command line. The answer is yes, and I mentioned that by exporting the set of commands in the pipeline, you can save it simply to a JSON file, and use that in an execution with either a command line interface, which is included in the PDFix SDK, or we have other tools for execution also with the external actions. So if anyone is interested in such use using the SDK or fully automated process, please reach out to us. We will provide you we will provide you the necessary tools or hints how to use that in the process.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I don't see further questions. Oh, if there are any limitations in the demo mode. The limitations from the functional point of view, there are no limitations. What you will see, what is the difference between the full and the light version or the trial version, is that at the end of the process, when you save the document, you see a small watermark on the random pages. So this is the only limitation. This is the information about the limitations. Regarding the REST API, the Docker images at the moment do not provide the REST API, but this is one of the features which we will be adding very quickly, because we understand that the Docker images are often used for execution in the web environment or various services. So yes, definitely REST API will be included very soon. Another question. Is it possible to configure? Is it possible to configure it AI behind to make it more accurable? So this question is actually an interesting one, and the answer is at the moment we provide an AI with parameters which we can set, like language. We can specify the option to override, and we can also specify the tag names for which the alternate text will be generated. So for right now, the default options are the figure and formula. So this will be this is used. However, there is no limit in using the AI, and actually we also provide this this Docker container, or the source code of this Docker container is an open source, and we will. I'm not sure if we have the link publicly available, but if not, the links to the Docker containers source code will be on the website, which will summarize the information about this from this webinar. And you can simply modify the Docker container or the source code and use your own, either change the AI, for which can be used simply use the different AI, or simply extend the options, modify the prompt to the OpenAI. So there are many ways to use it, and basically there is no limit, because you can simply just start this Docker container, which we provide as included in the package, can be just a starting point for other projects. Let's go to other. Yeah, this question is an interesting one. There is any versioning feature for the JSON templates. The JSON templates will be a part of a separate webinar. This is not currently included into this one. So if you will need something like a more urgent, please reach out to us, to send an email to support@pdfix.net, and we can provide you necessary support. Okay. Do you have an option to download the certificate show validation like Pack does? Do you have an option to download a certificate to show validation? I think this question, please correct me if I'm wrong, this question points to validation reports. Generation of validation reports is one of the commands which we can use, and basically it's included. If you still see my screen, we can generate the validation report. Currently, the validation report is generated into HTML. However, actually, you can proceed with the next step, which could be the HTML to PDF if you need the PDF version. The validation report can be, once you run the validation report, you will get a nice HTML, which will provide the full results of the validation, whether the document passed the validation, and which issues. It also includes all the issues listed in HTML format, so you can try it on your own how it looks like, whether it's a format which fits you. Does the number of pages can affect the result of auto tagging? Auto tagging again is not included in is not a topic for this webinar. However, I'm not sure what you mean by the number of pages, how it can affect. Maybe even the performance. Each page may process a few seconds or some time. So actually, from this point of view, definitely. But otherwise, if you have more details regarding on questions, please reach out to us by email. Okay, so we have another question related to the OCR. So will these processes work with documents OCR using ABBI FineReader or OCR, other OCR engines? If you think about utilizing other OCR for the process, we have integrated at the moment we have integrated OCR Tesseract as a Docker container. This is not the last one we work on. We work on other OCRs as well. However, there is no if the OCR, if your preferred OCR have a command line based application, it can be integrated as well. Everything that needs to be done, we have a configuration file which is written to integrate to the interface of the PDFix Desktop, and definitely we can help you with that. If you have such a case, then please reach out to us. We'll definitely provide the necessary support how to use it and how to integrate into the PDFix Desktop. What other thing you have? Okay, so I think some of the questions are somehow different, but actually I think they were answered. There was a question about fonts. Let's take this one. What is the best fonts to use to have the best results? So this is basically the fonts are always depends on the author, on the document itself. So if each document has basically different fonts, and we do not have the control over which fonts are used in the PDF, basically it's up to designer to choose which fonts are necessary. We always work with an existing PDF, so this is not actually under our control, which you can use. The last question actually to fit into our time frame: is it possible to integrate a custom container to extend the function of the PDFX like us or other OCR engine? Definitely yes. This is just like I mentioned with the OpenAI. We have all our Docker containers are open source projects, so we can. For us, it's easy to share the source code with you, and you can modify it, or you can use this source code as a template for integration with other OCRs. So it is all quite simple. So again, if you have any further questions, or we didn't answer everything what you wanted to ask, please send us an email. We will collect and review again all the questions and provide answers on the website, which will become a summary, and everyone from registered to this webinar will get a link to this website, so you can review there also the recording and also all the questions we did and also we did not answer. So thank you very much. I'm all done, and yeah.
Yeah, I would just say that if anything else comes up within the questions, don't hesitate to reach out to us. So yeah, a big thank you to Joseph for walking us through some of the practical ways in the remediation process using PDFix. If there is anything you would like to cover in a future webinars, just let us know. We'd love to hear your ideas and make sure we are covering what's most useful for you. And if that's enough, then I would like to thank you all so much for joining us today. I really hope you found the session helpful, and make sure to check your inbox for webinar resources we will be sending out soon. And for today, thanks again. And I really hope I will see you at our next webinar. So have a great day. Bye.
Thank you very much. Have a great day, everyone. Bye-bye.